And all it takes is someone being out sick one day for you to take their job.
Absolutely.
Am I lying?
Absolutely.
Hey, what's up, guys? I'm Antonio Neves, and this is Think Action TV, and I'm really excited because I'm being joined by my friend. This is Elaine Welteroth. She just happens to be the beauty editor for Glamour Magazine and a really awesome person. So thanks for coming by Think Action TV.
Thanks for having me.
Now, what I like about your story is that ours are very similar. So I moved to New York City like with $600 in my pocket. I knew one person. You moved here from small town Newark, California, and you've made an amazing career for yourself.
Thank you.
How did you make this happen?
Well, I think it all started way before I landed in New York City. It started with the idea, determination, follow through, and a whole lot of faith. And I worked 2 jobs, worked 7 days a week before I moved to New York to save up the money. And found a mentor before I moved here, reached out, cold called, and just said, I want to work for you. And by the grace of God, it worked out, moved to New York, and started working at Ebony Magazine.
You mentioned something that I think is critically important and something that's made all the difference in my career, the informational meeting. I also like to call it coffee and cocktails. Why not get a caffeine buzz or a hangover while doing an informational meeting? But tell me about your approach to informational meetings and how they've made an impact on your career.
Absolutely. I think informational meetings are one of the only ways to establish relationships with people who could create opportunities for you in the future. You can't just come to New York and expect to bump into someone who's going to make a difference. Like, you have to go out of your way, make cold calls, make emails to people, and know that, you may not hear back from everyone. Don't take it personally, but also don't give up. Keep reaching out to people, and eventually someone's going to respond to you and take 15 minutes to get to know you, and they will keep you in mind. And please believe, the way you get a job in New York is by reference. I get calls and emails all the time. Who should I hire? I'm looking for an assistant, I'm looking for an intern. And you get hired based on the strength of a recommendation, the strength of your character. So get out there, meet people. It's the best way to create opportunities for yourself.
Yeah, and that's New York City or Chicago, Detroit.
Absolutely.
It doesn't matter. Informational meetings are so important. Let's talk a little bit more about the informational meeting. So you get that meeting, someone says, yes, Elaine, I'll give you 15 minutes of my time. What do you do during the meeting?
Yeah, don't waste their time. Google them. Google is a resource that people didn't have 20, 30 years ago. We have that now. Please take advantage of it. Research this person. Ask them about their careers. People love talking about themselves. Let them feel important. So ask them what it took to get to where they're at, and make sure that you bring enthusiasm and a sincere passion. Don't be nervous. Show them how interested and excited you are and what you want to do. Be very clear with your talking points. Have your 15-second pitch ready to go, because you won't have much time. So be prepared.
Okay, so you get here, and right now you have a great job. You're the beauty editor for Glamour Magazine. Everybody knows that, but you did not start there. So when you got some of those early jobs, what were some of the key things that you did to stand out? I know something that's important to you is saying yes.
Absolutely. When I started out, I was an intern for the creative director, and I was basically producing shoots, answering phone calls, doing administrative work. But what I really wanted to do wasn't, obviously I wanted to write, but that wasn't available at that moment. So I said yes to everything else. Eventually I became indispensable because I said yes to everything, and they needed me. I created a sense of like, wow, we need this girl around here. And when the opportunity to be a beauty writer came up, of course they thought of me, because that's something that I was always interested in. And it was just cheaper to keep me there because I was willing to do everything.
So she became what Seth Godin calls a linchpin. I always tell people,
Absolutely.
do the job that no one else wants to do.
Yes.
Volunteer, because listen, all it takes is someone being out sick one day for you to take their job.
Absolutely.
Am I lying?
Absolutely.
For that person out there who's watching, who's thinking about making a big move, whether that's abroad to New York City to Chicago, I don't care. What would you recommend that they do before that move?
Establish the first step, have some action steps to follow in mind, but definitely take the step. Don't be afraid. Don't be too afraid to take that first step. I think that's a lot of people never leave the home stage, and I think it all happens once you leave the home stage, and it may not materialize the way you thought, but stick with it, and don't give up. Don't give up. I think, for me, I came to New York the first time for an internship in advertising. Didn't love it. Actually felt completely like, what am I doing? But once I was in New York, I got addicted to the energy, and I realized if I can make it to New York, I can make it to what I actually want to do in New York. And it just, I got inspired and I never gave up, and it worked out for me. So it can work out for you. Doesn't matter where you come from. It doesn't matter if you don't know anyone in the industry that you want to be in. Take that first step.
Right. Because that first step leads to the next step.
Absolutely.
And the next step and the next step. So Elaine, I want to thank you so much for joining me
Thank you.
on Think Action TV. And for you guys to catch more episodes, stay right here.